You know what sucks about being an adult? That no one told me that being an adult would suck. By now, about 3/4 of my life was my childhood. Now, I grew up in a different home than many of you have, but the kind of home that I grew up in encouraged me to be a child and to enjoy my youth and to not worry about things and to not have concerns or cares or be upset about anything. I was encouraged to think about my future, but it wasn't something that was like so important and so pressing that it was like think about your future constantly and try to figure out what you're gonna do with your life so that you will make it the best future that you can possibly have. I feel like in general, I was told to kind of just let things happen and that the path would kind of unwind as I reached it, and that going to college would provide me with tools and opportunities to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. But I feel like as I went to college and started studying, I didn't exactly figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, I did to an extent, but then I decided several times that I wanted to change it, and by the end, I was just as confused as when I began. Honestly, feel like even up till about age 19 or 20, I was still encouraged to be young and to enjoy my youth and to not try to grow up so fast. And that seems like a problem to me because we get to this point where we exit college if we decide to go and we become an adult, and then all of a sudden we have responsibilities and duties, and it's not just we're living at home and everything's provided and you know we have car insurance paid for and we don't have to worry about bills or rent or buying food. It's all there. All of a sudden you are in charge of finding your own place to live, you're in charge of paying for your own car, you're in charge of finding food that's not only going to be nutritious to you, but is also going to sustain you and something that you can afford. You can't just go home and dinner's ready for you. You have to go home and make something, and if there's nothing there to be made, you have to go get it. But then there's this problem where, oh no, I don't have money because my job doesn't pay me enough. Or, oh no, I can't necessarily get food because I have rent to pay at the end of the month and I don't have the money to do it. This seems like a problem to me, in America especially, that we encourage people for so long to not think about their future and to not worry about being an adult. But then all of a sudden an adult smacks you and you're an adult all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of left field. You knew it was coming. You knew that it was gonna be there eventually, but you didn't know when, and now it's here, and now you're panicking, and you're freaking out, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs, and maybe you cry because you don't know what to do with yourself. If you are under the age of 17, 16, even 15, I would say, as hard as it is, think about what you want to do, because in 5 years from now, you know, in 4 years, or even 3 years from now, you are going to be faced with this world-changing event that you are now responsible for. Everything that you do and everything that happens around you is now totally weighed on your shoulders, and that seems like a lot of pressure to put on people. And I think that's why we don't encourage kids to think about the future and encourage them not to try to grow up too fast. Although the problem that lays with that is that you inevitably will grow up and you will be left without a plan. It'd be like if you decided to go on a road trip and you spent all this money to get to the other side of the country and you were planning on just being there, and all of a sudden you're there with no money, all these things to do, and you're just stranded at a hotel that you managed to pay for, but you've got nothing to do and you can't go and experience the great foods that are around you, and you can't go look at the sights because you have no money to get you there. You can't go and buy souvenirs to bring back to your friends because you don't have anything and you didn't plan well enough for it. And that is the unfortunate reality of, I think, what happens to many people is that we are sent on this journey of life, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're gonna get you all packed up and we're gonna send you to college, and here's some scholarships and here's some loans and here's some things to really catapult your life. You're there, you get to college, you finish, and all of a sudden you're just stuck. And then you have school debt and you have responsibilities and bills, and then it just piles up from there, and it seems so stressful in the moment. And I think we need to work on this, and we need to be better as a culture and a society in raising our children to be thinking about things like this and encourage them not to just be willy-nilly and think at the end of the journey something is bound to happen, because in this economy that's not always a guarantee, and it seems like a lot of pressure to just tell people and children, don't worry about being an adult, it'll all be fine. It will be fine eventually, but in the moment it's going to be terrifying, and they're not going to be ready for it. And so I would encourage all of you out there who are parents, if that is even in my demographic, that you be considering this for your children, And if you are considering having children, to think about this for when you do. Or if you are a child, to be considering things like this. Because I feel like this is a problem and it needs to be worked on. And that's my 2 cents for today. Until next time, peace out. Take care,